Tiger Brands has been in the news over the last few days, a massive recall of canned goods under the Coup brand. In this month, though, 3 years ago, the Department of Health confirmed that there had been 1,060 cases of listeriosis and 216 deaths as a result. That was Tiger Brands as well. Later in that year, in December, a High Court ruled that certain things needed to be done and could be applied for by way of compensation. Well, what's happened since then? To talk about this, we're joined now by human rights attorney Richard Spoor, who has been involved with this matter. Mr. Spoor, welcome. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, John.
What should have happened after the Gauteng High Court spoke its mind on this?
What should have happened is that Tiger should have sat down with us and we should have agreed on a compensation package and a process to identify the people who were the victims of this outbreak of listeriosis. And that is certainly what we hoped for, but it hasn't played out like that, and we find ourselves in an opposed litigation, aggressively opposed, no admissions, no acknowledgement. And until recently, and I'll get to that in a moment, it looked as if we're in for a very long process. However, in the last few months, we have started negotiations on two important issues. One, on means to shorten the trial, expedite it, and two, to establish a multidisciplinary medical panel to assess and evaluate the harm that's been suffered by the victims. And to date, we have close on 900 claimants who've come forward and who've suffered harm and loss. And we're looking at a way to get all of them in front of an agreed panel to assess and quantify their harm and loss. So that is good news. The biggest issue and the biggest problem, reason why we haven't moved forward, is that Tiger launched independent proceedings against other food producers and food laboratories,
right,
demanding that they disclose whether or not during the period that's of relevance here, they had identified other meat producers, food producers, who had contaminated foodstuffs. With foodstuffs contaminated with listeria.
Right.
The laboratories and other food producers declined to make that information available. They said it's not relevant. It's we're not going to disclose that. It's very sensitive, confidential information. The matter went to the High Court. Tiger was successful. The laboratories and the food producers were ordered to disclose the information, but they appealed the matter, and it's now pending before the Supreme Court. Tiger's position is that they are not willing to go on with the trial until they know for sure whether or not other people might have contributed towards this outbreak. There is no reason for them to believe that anybody did,
yes,
but they insist on this right to get disclosure from other parties.
News.
Experts.
Analysis.
Where things stand.
What you need to know. Drive home with John Perlman
On 702.